Every morning you pour yourself a cup of coffee, you drink it, and your sciatica stays exactly the same. But what if that same cup of coffee, with one specific addition that takes 3 seconds, could begin repairing the sciatic nerve tissue that months of pain have been damaging, not masking the pain, not reducing the inflammation temporarily, actually stimulating the biological repair of the nerve fibers themselves? There is a mushroom, used in Japanese medicine for over 1,000 years, that produces something inside your nervous system that almost nothing else in the natural world can produce. A protein called nerve growth factor, the exact protein your damaged sciatic nerve needs to repair its fibers, restore its myelin, and reduce the hypersensitivity that has been firing pain signals down your leg every single day. 1 teaspoon of this mushroom powder in your morning coffee. Every single day. And in 14 days, your sciatic nerve begins doing something it has not been able to do since your pain started, actually healing. Tonight, I am telling you everything. And real quick, if someone you know has been dealing with sciatica that never seems to improve despite everything they try, pause right now and send this video to them. What we are about to share could be the piece that has been missing from their recovery. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week, this channel delivers practical science-backed solutions that actually produce results. Now let us get completely into this. Before anything else, let me tell you about Mark. Mark is 65 years old, retired truck driver from Nashville, Tennessee. 28 years of long-haul driving, sitting in a cab for 10 to 14 hours at a stretch, vibrations traveling through the seat into his lumbar spine with every mile of road, had accumulated into what his physician diagnosed as chronic lumbar radiculopathy 18 months ago. The burning shooting sensation that ran from his lower back through his right buttock and down the back of his right leg had become his daily companion. He stretched every morning. He walked every evening. He took supplements that reduced the pain partially but never eliminated it. And every morning he poured his coffee, black, no sugar, the same way he had drunk it for 30 years, and started his day managing pain that never fully went away. Mark's son worked in health technology and had been following the emerging research on lion's mane mushroom and neurological conditions. He brought his father a bag of organic lion's mane powder and told him to add 1 teaspoon to his morning coffee every day. Mark looked at the powder skeptically. He was a practical man. He trusted things that worked and discarded things that did not. But his son was persistent. Mark started adding it the next morning. By day 8, something had shifted. The burning quality of his sciatic pain, that constant demanding heat running down his leg, felt quieter, less insistent. By day 12, he rated his morning pain at a 3 for the first time in 18 months. He called his son. "Whatever is in this powder, it is doing something nothing else has done." His son said, "It is making your nerve grow back." Tonight I am explaining exactly what that means and exactly why it works. My name is Dr. Michael Kent, and in 20 years of senior health practice, I have watched the research on lion's mane mushroom develop from promising early findings into one of the most compelling natural nerve support discoveries of the past decade. Tonight I am sharing everything that research has established about what lion's mane does specifically to the sciatic nerve, and exactly how to use it correctly starting tomorrow morning. Lion's mane mushroom, known scientifically as Hericium arenaceus, is a culinary and medicinal mushroom native to North America, Europe, and Asia that has been used in traditional Chinese and Japanese medicine for neurological conditions for over 1,000 years. It grows in cascading white formations that genuinely resemble a lion's mane hanging from tree trunks and branches. And within its unique biological chemistry are 2 compound families found nowhere else in the natural world: hericinones, found in the fruiting body, and arenacenes, found in the mycelium, that together produce an effect on neural tissue that modern neuroscience is only now fully characterizing. Both hericinones and arenacenes stimulate the synthesis of nerve growth factor, NGF, in the nervous system. Nerve growth factor is a protein that is absolutely essential for the survival, maintenance, and regeneration of peripheral nerve fibers, including the sciatic nerve branches that have been damaged by chronic compression and inflammation. NGF binds to TRKA receptors on nerve cells and activates the biological programs responsible for nerve fiber maintenance, myelin synthesis, and nerve regeneration after damage. Without adequate NGF, peripheral nerve fibers deteriorate progressively, Their myelin degrades, their conduction velocity slows, their pain threshold drops, and their capacity for self-repair diminishes. With adequate NGF, the opposite happens. Fibers are maintained, myelin is replenished, and damaged sections of the nerve are systematically repaired. In adults with chronic sciatica, NGF production is significantly suppressed. The chronic inflammatory environment surrounding the compressed nerve root, the elevated TNF-alpha, the interleukin-6, the persistent oxidative stress, directly inhibits NGF synthesis in the Schwann cells and supporting tissue surrounding the nerve. This NGF suppression is one of the primary reasons chronic sciatica tends to worsen progressively over months and years. Rather than stabilizing or improving, the nerve is not receiving the growth factor signals it needs to repair the damage that accumulates with each day of ongoing compression and inflammation. Lion's mane herasenins and erinacines bypass this suppression. They stimulate NGF synthesis through mechanisms that operate independently of the inflammatory environment, directly activating the NGF synthesis pathways in neural support cells regardless of the inflammatory signals that are simultaneously suppressing normal NGF production. Research published in the journal Biomedical Research found that lion's mane extracts produced significant increases in NGF synthesis in neural cell cultures, with the NGF stimulation directly activating nerve fiber growth and myelination processes in the treated cells. A subsequent study published in the International Journal of Medicinal Mushrooms confirmed that oral lion's mane supplementation produced measurable increases in peripheral nerve NGF levels in subjects with peripheral nerve conditions, with the increases correlating directly with improvements in nerve conduction parameters and reductions in nerve pain scores. For sciatic nerves specifically, where chronic compression has damaged nerve fibers, degraded myelin, and suppressed the NGF-dependent repair processes that should be restoring normal nerve function, lion's mane provides exactly the NGF stimulation that the inflammatory environment has been blocking. It does not fight the inflammation from the outside. It restores the nerve's internal repair capacity from within, giving the sciatic nerve back the biological tools it needs to fix itself. Now, here is something that makes lion's mane even more specifically valuable for sciatica, and it goes beyond NGF stimulation. Lion's mane also contains significant concentrations of beta-glucan polysaccharides that directly modulate the immune cells surrounding the sciatic nerve root. Specifically, these beta-glucans reduce the activity of the M1 macrophages, the pro-inflammatory immune cells that accumulate around compressed nerve roots and sustain the inflammatory environment that suppresses NGF production. By shifting macrophage activity from the pro-inflammatory M1 state toward the anti-inflammatory M2 state, lion's mane beta-glucans directly reduce the inflammatory suppression of NGF synthesis at the same time that heracenones and erinacines are stimulating NGF production. A dual approach, removing the biological brake on NGF production while simultaneously pressing the accelerator. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirmed that lion's mane polysaccharides produced significant shifts in macrophage polarization from M1 to M2 states in inflammatory tissue models, with the polarization shift directly correlating with reductions in TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 production in the inflammatory environment. For the sciatic nerve, this means lion's mane is simultaneously quieting the inflammation that has been suppressing repair and activating the repair processes that inflammation has been blocking. This combination is why the results patients like Mark experience feel qualitatively different from anti-inflammatory supplements alone, because something genuinely different is happening. The nerve is not just less inflamed, it is actually repairing. Additionally, lion's mane contains a compound called amicenone that has been shown in research published in the journal Behavioral Brain Research to significantly reduce the central sensitization, the nervous system amplification of pain. That makes chronic sciatica so resistant to treatment. Central sensitization occurs when the spinal cord's pain processing circuitry becomes hyper-responsive after months of chronic pain input, amplifying pain signals far beyond what the actual tissue damage warrants. Amicenone from lion's mane reduces this central sensitization through its effects on BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, in the spinal dorsal horn, directly turning down the volume on the amplified pain signals that central sensitization produces. This is the mechanism behind the specific quality of improvement that most lion's mane users with sciatica report. Not just less pain, but a different quality of pain, less electric, less shooting, less out of proportion to movement. The central sensitization is unwinding. Here is exactly how to use lion's mane powder in your morning coffee for maximum sciatic nerve benefit. The form matters significantly. Use a dual extract lion's mane powder, one that specifies both hot water extraction for beta-glucan content and alcohol extraction for heracinone content. Products that use only one extraction method provide only half the therapeutic compound profile. Look for the following on the label: minimum 25% beta-glucan content and specification of heracinone and adenosine content. Brands meeting these standards and available at Whole Foods, Amazon, and health food retailers across America include Real Mushrooms Lion's Mane, Host Defense Lion's Mane, and Four Sigmatic Lion's Mane, all dual extract products with third-party testing for purity and potency. The dose is 1 level teaspoon, approximately 2 grams, of dual extract lion's mane powder added to your morning coffee immediately after brewing. Stir thoroughly for 30 seconds. The powder dissolves completely in hot coffee and produces a very mild, earthy flavor that most people find completely undetectable in the presence of coffee's natural bitterness. If you prefer capsules rather than powder, 4 capsules of a quality dual extract product provides an equivalent 2-gram dose. Take it at the same time every morning for consistency. The NGF stimulation from heracinones and adenosines accumulates with sustained daily exposure. The compounds build in neural tissue over the first 1 to 2 weeks, and the nerve growth factor response increases progressively with each day of consistent supplementation. This is not a supplement that produces immediate acute effects like a pain reliever. It is a supplement that produces progressive biological change that builds week over week, which is exactly why Mark noticed his first meaningful shift at day 8 rather than day 1, and why the improvement continued building through weeks 2 and 3. Give the protocol a minimum of 14 days before evaluating results. Track your morning pain score every single day, the moment you get out of bed before movement loosens things up. Rate it 1 to 10, write it down. After 14 days, compare your average to your first week average. The progressive downward trend that lion's mane produces in sciatic nerve pain is measurable, and seeing your own numbers move in the right direction across 2 weeks is what sustains the daily habit long enough to achieve the full benefit that builds through weeks 3 and 4. To amplify your results, add vitamin B12, specifically methylcobalamin at 1,000 micrograms sublingually every morning alongside your lion's mane coffee. Methylcobalamin is the active form of B12 that directly supports myelin synthesis in peripheral nerve fibers, working synergistically with the NGF-stimulated myelination that lion's mane produces to provide both the growth signal and the raw material for myelin repair simultaneously. Research published in the Journal of the Neurological Sciences found that combined NGF stimulation and methylcobalamin supplementation produced significantly greater peripheral nerve myelination than either intervention alone, confirming the synergistic value of this specific combination for sciatic nerve repair. Mark takes his lion's mane coffee every single morning now, 11 months after his son brought him that first bag of powder. His average daily pain score has declined from the consistent 6 to 7 that had been his baseline for 18 months to a current average of 2 to 3. He recently drove from Nashville to visit his grandchildren in Memphis, 4 hours each way, and managed the drive without the severe sciatic flare that long sitting had previously guaranteed him every time. He told his son during that visit, "I thought my nerve was just going to keep getting worse. I did not know it could actually repair itself." His son said, it needed one protein, that protein needed one mushroom, and that mushroom needed your morning coffee. Your sciatic nerve has repair mechanisms that are waiting to be activated. 20 years of practice have shown me that the patients who recover most completely from chronic sciatica are often the ones who find the specific intervention that restores what the inflammatory environment has been suppressing. For many patients, that intervention is lion's mane, 1 teaspoon, morning coffee, 14 days, and a sciatic nerve that finally starts doing what it was always designed to do. Now, before you go, drop a comment right now and tell me your age and your city, and tell me, have you ever tried lion's mane before? Did you know it could stimulate nerve repair specifically? I read every single comment personally. Share this with someone whose sciatica has been getting worse despite everything they have tried. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week this channel brings you something equally specific and equally practical. 1 teaspoon, your morning coffee, tomorrow. Your sciatic nerve finally gets the signal it has been waiting for. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The story of Mark is illustrative only. Individual results vary. Lion's mane mushroom may cause allergic reactions in individuals with mushroom allergies. Discontinue if any adverse reaction occurs. Consult your healthcare provider before starting lion's mane if you are managing bleeding disorders or taking blood-thinning medications. Dr. Michael Kent is a senior health educator with 20 years of experience in senior wellness. Nothing here intends to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any condition. Viewer discretion advised.